I didn't lose my marriage in a fight. I didn't lose it to someone else. I lost it to a secret I kept from myself. And the hardest part, I didn't even know I was keeping it. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that I was married for 9 years. 9 years to someone who was, by every measure, a good person. Kind, steady, responsible. We met at a friend's birthday dinner. Nothing cinematic about it. No slow motion, no magic moment. She was sitting across the table, laughing. And I remember thinking, she seems easy to be around. That was it. No lightning, no fireworks, just comfort. And at that time, I thought comfort was enough. We started dating quietly. No big announcements, no dramatic love story, just simple conversations that lasted longer than expected. Then one day, it became serious without us noticing. That's how it happens sometimes. Not with a decision, but with routine. The first years of marriage felt stable. We had a small apartment, simple furniture, shared chores, weekend groceries together, Friday dinners we rarely skipped, morning coffee before work. We weren't passionate in a loud way, but we were consistent. And consistency feels like love when you don't question it. At least, that's what I believed. But something strange about marriage is this. It doesn't break loudly. It doesn't collapse in a moment. It dissolves, quietly, like water leaking from a glass, drop by drop, until one day, you realize it's empty. I still remember Sunday mornings. That used to be our time. Coffee, soft music, no phones, just talking about anything and nothing. But slowly, the phones came in. First on the table, then in our hands, then in our attention. And conversations became updates. How was your day? Fine. Busy. Same. That was it. Short, empty, efficient. And silence started to feel heavier than words. Have you ever felt completely alone while someone is sitting right next to you? That's the kind of loneliness I didn't know how to name. Because nothing was technically wrong. We weren't fighting, we weren't shouting, we weren't breaking things. We were just fading. At first, I blamed stress. Work, life, responsibility. I told myself, this is normal, this is adulthood. But deep down, something felt off. Not broken, just missing. In year 5, things got quieter. We stopped asking deep questions, stopped sharing random thoughts, stopped laughing at small things. Even our arguments disappeared. And I remember thinking, this should feel peaceful, right? But it didn't. It felt distant, like we were two people living parallel lives in the same house. In year 7, she suggested therapy, but not in the way you'd expect, not as a couple. She said something I'll never forget. I think you should talk to someone, not we, me. That should have been my first clue, that something had already shifted. I started therapy reluctantly. At first, I gave safe answers, careful answers, polished answers. But one day, my therapist asked me something simple. When you imagine your life 10 years from now, what do you want it to feel like? I smiled and then stopped smiling because I didn't know how to answer. Not because I was confused, but because nothing came. No image, no direction, no feeling, just blank. And in that silence, something uncomfortable surfaced. I wasn't unhappy in a dramatic way. I wasn't suffering. I was existing. Comfortably, predictably, safely, but not fully alive. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling, asking myself one question. Am I happy? Not stable, not okay, not fine. Happy. And the truth was, I didn't know. That was the beginning of the real breakdown. Not the marriage, me. Because I started seeing everything differently. The silence wasn't peaceful anymore. It was avoidance. The routine wasn't stability anymore. It was repetition. And the comfort I once valued started feeling like a cage I built myself. The hardest realization wasn't that I didn't love her. It was that I never really asked myself if I did. I just assumed I did, because everything made sense on paper. Good partner, good life, no major problems, so it must be love, right? But love isn't just absence of problems, and that I had never understood. Have you ever known a truth about your life, but avoided saying it because saying it would change everything? That was my secret. Not betrayal, not another person, just avoidance. Avoiding honesty with myself. 2 weeks later, I told her. Not dramatically, not angrily, not with blame, just honesty. I said I didn't feel present anymore. I didn't understand myself anymore. I didn't know what I wanted anymore. And I expected pain, anger, shock. But she didn't react immediately. She just listened, quietly. And after a long silence, she said something I will never forget. I think I've known for a long time. That sentence changed everything, because it meant I wasn't alone in feeling it. We were both just pretending differently. We didn't separate immediately. There was no explosion, no dramatic exit. Just conversations, long pauses, hard truths. For the first time in years, we actually talked. Not as roles, not as routines, but as two people trying to understand what happened. We separated months later, and surprisingly, it wasn't hatred that followed us. It was clarity, painful but honest. The real ending wasn't the separation. It was the realization that came before it, that comfort is not the same as happiness, that staying out of fear is not the same as staying out of love. And maybe the hardest truth of all, I didn't lose my marriage. I outgrew a life I never consciously chose. So let me ask you something, quietly, honestly. Is this your life, or just the life you learn to accept? Because the most dangerous kind of unhappiness isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It whispers, slowly, softly, until you believe it's normal. And one day, you stop asking questions, not because you found answers, but because you stopped noticing the silence. If this story feels familiar, maybe it didn't come to you by accident. Maybe it found you, because something inside you already knew. Take a breath. Not everything needs to change today, but some truths need to be acknowledged. Not every ending is failure. Some endings are just honesty, finally catching up. And if this story spoke to you, maybe you're not lost. Maybe you're just starting to see clearly.